To be quite honest, I felt like a snitch. I felt like, why in the world would you have this conversation like with anybody? Like, all of these things that you've been holding inside is for you, nobody else. You know what I mean? Take that to the grave. So when I decided to get therapy, man, I was really like tossing and turning and having a battle within about, you know, talking to a stranger about my life. You know, it's like you did a crime. Now you're calling the police to turn yourself in. Like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Well, when I finally did call and, set up the appointment for the therapist, oh my gosh, my heart was pounding 100 miles an hour. I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, I was nervous. And so it was a video chat. So when I got on the video chat, she talked and, tried to make me feel very comfortable, but man, I was a wall. She was like, so what is it that you want to talk about? I was like, I mean, really, I'm good. Like, you know, I just want to run some things over, you know what I mean? I mean, but really I'm good, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm straight, but you know, and she like, Mr. Trent, you said you're good about 10 times. You want to have a conversation? I'm like, all right, so this is what's up. So I have these conversations, and she did a good job guiding me through, asking me questions, all that good stuff, and making me feel comfortable once again. But I still didn't talk too much. The second appointment, I talked a little more. And a friend of mine asked me, "So how did that feel to finally do that?" And my answer was, I felt dirty. I felt like a snitch. I felt like I needed a bath. You know what I mean? And I didn't even really go deep on those stuff on those first two. I didn't really go. It's just that the fact that I had to tell somebody what's been inside of me, you know what I mean, all this time that I ain't talked to people about, I had to literally have this conversation with a stranger. That was the whole thing. You know what I mean? I am lock it up, throw away the key. It is what it is. But having those conversations, man, was, oh my gosh. But you have two conversations, you have four conversations, you have six conversations, and at some point, the dam breaks, and you start to see the things in your life. You start to see the patterns. You start to see, the different things and why you are like you are, and things that you like that you are still bothered by that you don't even know until you talk about it. Like you think that you good from that stuff, but you open up your mouth and it's like waterfalls, you know what I mean? Like TLC, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, but, but I also felt like 100 pounds less. You know what I mean? Like getting that weight off was huge. It was huge for me. It was huge for my growth. It was huge for whatever's next for me in my life. Like it was huge to get to that point, you know. I'll tell you, I spoke at a men's meeting some years ago and I stood up and I'm speaking and and I'm passionate and I'm talking and they laughing and they're all engaged. I mean, room full of men, businessmen, grandfathers, young brothers. I mean, just packed with men and and they're all listen, they're all on the edge of their seats. And I'm making a point, but one of my points led me down a path that took me to a place of things that happened in my past that I had no intentions about talking about. Zero intent. I didn't practice this. I didn't rehearse this. I just ended up down this path and I couldn't go backwards. And it was my first time saying these things out loud. And I kept talking, but tears were coming down my face. I stayed passionate, you know what I mean? But the tears was rolling, you know. And when I got finished talking, it was the same thing with the therapist. I felt like, why would you have this conversation, dude? Like, you in a room full of men. Like, why would you be this vulnerable? Like, what the heck is going on with you? And when it was over, I went and sat in my seat, and I wanted to hide, to be quite honest. I wanted to get up underneath my chair and just put my head down, throw my hoodie on. Like, that's what I really wanted to do. But when it was over, I stood up, and there was a long line of men waiting to talk to me. And I was like, what is going on? And as I talked to each man, some would grab my hand, pull up on my ear, and I'm like, hey man, this happened to me when I was 14, blah, 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 blah. Tears in her eyes. Some dudes would be like, hey man, let me holler at you for a second. Can you walk away for a minute? I walk away from the line, talk to him. He'd be like, hey man, I ain't never said this to nobody, man. I ain't never said this to nobody. Break down crying. Break down crying. I learned that day that men, man, we holding some serious stuff. We are holding a lot of stuff that we don't ever talk about. We holding that stuff in. And so, women are like, why are you so closed? You know what I mean? Why don't you never say nothing? You so close. Won't you tell me what's going on? He like, no, I'm guarded for a reason. You know what I mean? Kids are like, why is daddy so strict? Why don't he let us go here and go there? He ain't saying why. He got his reasons. He ain't saying why, but trust. He got good reasons for why he is how he is. I ain't saying it's always right. I ain't saying that. I'm saying he got his reasons. But for me, after that experience, I knew it's time to talk to somebody. For me, I needed to talk to somebody. I needed to have some conversations. And I'm a better man for it. Now I don't have to go and you know, dig up this dirt and tell everybody on the internet or whatever it is what those things were. It's a lot of different things. But I don't have to go and talk about it. But what I can tell you is I feel so much freer. I feel so much lighter. I feel so much more resolved in many areas of my life. And I feel like I'm just now stepping into who I really am without, without regret. You know what I mean? And it's a wonderful feeling. It is, you know. And so, life has many changes, many transitions, many things that will come at you, But one thing that you have to deal with is whatever that is on the inside that has kept you, that has made you struggle, that has weighed you down. You got to at least take care of that. Once you take care of that, get freer, get lighter on your feet. You know what I mean? Get free. Man, you can really move through some new transitions in your life and see a more beautiful day, you know. So, yeah, that's why I went to a therapist and I needed it.